You are watching the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, your escape to reality.
Hey everybody.
Hey!
Friday.
What's up, folks?
We're starting a few minutes late because we had this like mad scramble at the end because we realized we had to cannibalize a lot of stuff to do the Nexus show. So I'm like, it's like literally 10 minutes before the show. I'm like, holy shit, I have no mic. I had to run down to the studio, grab my equipment and then hook it all back up again.
Well, that my problem was that we had a hurricane and I don't have internet or power at my house.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So you sound like you're on Wi-Fi.
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
I'm on Wi-Fi.
Yep. But it's good to see you all, as usual.
Good to see everyone.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Well, we don't have Kara. She's
gallivanting around Scotland still.
Yeah, something about roaming the hills or
yeah.
Can I tell you how utterly addicted to electricity and the internet I am?
You mean society?
I have been living without air conditioning or internet since Tuesday afternoon. So pretty much I get into like a stupor. I'm angry all the time. Like I constantly pick up my phone and then go, oh, I don't have internet. I'm like, oh my God, I realize like I'm on my phone all the time, working, checking, just doing all the regular stuff that we all do on our electronics.
I know we lost power and internet for like 3 hours, and it was a nightmare. I mean, I had to talk to my family for 3 hours, without like the TV as a distraction.
Just 3 hours?
Yeah, we got it back pretty quickly. We were lucky.
Damn, you're lucky.
Yeah.
But Jade, so it's been like 3 days for you now, though, right?
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't end. They told us that it was going to be fixed last night at 8 p.m. Because what Court and I have been doing, my wife and I have been doing, is we're going to my mom's house and using her internet, and there's power here, so all the normal things. And then we're driving home, and Court's like, they just changed it from 8 p.m. to evaluating the situation. It's like, how many days do they need to fix this stuff? I mean, I get really impatient when it comes to stuff like this because electricity is it's beyond essential. Like I just cannot deal with not having electricity.
Jay, I used to live in the town you live in.
Yeah.
And it's although it's not remote, it's very wooded.
Yeah.
And it's sparse enough where you've got one path of power coming to you. And if anywhere along that chain, there's no way to reroute it to you. So if it goes down, that's pretty much it. Until they get that line back up, you're going to be out. Because again, that was my experience living in that town.
The other thing I heard, and I don't know, I haven't been able to verify this, but I was looking on Facebook because I belong to a Facebook group that is like the people that live in my town, and it's useful because they'll tell you, you'll learn things like, hey, a black bear is on this street, so you pull your kids inside, whatever. So some guy said that Connecticut has run out of transformers.
Run out.
And in order for Eversource, which is the power company here, to get their hands on one, it's going to take 7 weeks unless some state, or I don't know, a relationship with another state where they might be able to purchase equipment.
I would think
Can't
that
they just
would
go
happen.
to Home Depot? Go to Home Depot or Lowe's, pick up a transformer. What's the problem?
Bob, your mic sounds blown out. You gotta fix that.
Well, the Brio's disabled, so it's not the Brio. It's
It's this Focusrite, right? You have the what's the one that you have, the audio interface?
Focusrite.
Yeah, just
Focusrite's
turn down
plugged
the
in.
knob. If there's a knob, turn it down.
All right, turning it from 1 to like.
I turned up Steve's mic as well.
Yeah,
Everybody.
can you
Yeah,
hear
that's
me?
right.
Do
There
I
were-
sound good now?
Lots of
It's a little
complaints.
quiet. You could click it up
Can
one
you turn
or,
up the
or
gain?
Jay,
yeah,
how's
let's
that?
just go one click up or
Sounds like you did nothing.
on the
How's that?
Focusrite. Yeah, that's better. Sounds better to me. Everybody in chat.
Lots of
is that good?
transformer jokes hitting the,
Other than Bob.
in the chat.
You know,
Bob's
Evan,
a little clippy.
We pulled off an amazing technical feat with the conference, and we can't do a basic Zoom meeting, right?
Well,
Well, just again, we were scrambling, and it just takes time to. I have to normally I'm not unattaching and reattaching my audio, and I just have to re-level everything,
Yeah.
And literally we were down to the last second.
So
happens.
also, because I'm on my laptop, I don't have the link to the chat, and does anybody have that?
Yeah, I'll send it. It's in the Zoom chat.
So Jay, is it possible you will not get power for weeks?
Steve, I can't accept that reality right now because
Okay.
I'm not exaggerating. It's debilitating. Like I feel
Yeah, sure.
kind of beaten up. First off, I can't sleep when it's 75 to 80 degrees in the room. To me, that's like torture for me. So I'm not sleeping well, then you're like kind of snacking all day and you're not really having regular meals. Like everything gets totally whacked out. But could you imagine if this is the case for 7 weeks? I mean, forget it.
Well, I don't know. That seems unprecedented as far as I know. I've lived in Connecticut most of my life. I don't recall any time that we've been out for that long. Even dating back to the 1970s with the snowstorm of '78 and that whole craziness. The most usually within 3 weeks. That's about the longest I'm familiar with of power being out in Connecticut due to an event like this.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve, we had the tornadoes in 2018, was it, or 2017?
Tornadoes, I think 3 years ago now.
So, and how long was power out? I mean, that
A
was
week?
massive damage.
Yeah,
That was
10
worse
days,
than
I think,
what
10
we
days.
experienced. So 10 days. So that's probably what you're looking at on the outset, Jay, I would think.
But if they're
And
out
don't
of
worry about- if we don't have
transformers, that's a
transformers, they
different-
will. They will go to New York. They'll go to Vermont. They'll go to wherever they have
Yeah.
to go to get them. They're not going to wait for new ones to be built or whatever. That's silly. They'll get them.
Yeah, I mean, you would think, this is the kind of thing where transformers last a long time. I can understand them going, well, we're not going to warehouse thousands of transformers, but then, don't they have to logically balance that with, like in 2017, we had a tornado come through, and massive amounts of trees went down. Everybody I know had trees go down in their yard. There was trees down everywhere. Then they should be like, well, these storms happen. We get these, once every couple of years, once every 3 years. But
Yeah,
for them
and
to
some
work-
people are saying, hey, why can't they just get it from neighboring states? But you have to realize a dozen states were hit by this hurricane. The
Yeah.
whole region was hit. It's not just a localized phenomenon. So this is when resources get stretched thin. But every time this happens, I can't help thinking, bury the effing power lines.
Yep.
I mean, right?
Well,
My street hasn't buried.
Well,
I still sound like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still sound
but
like shit.
newer developments do have the buried
I know
power
some do,
lines.
but they just do
Yeah.
it statewide. You know, just
Yeah, that would be many
Yeah.
billion. It would probably be billions of dollars. which
Yeah,
would
it's
be
worthwhile,
sense
worth
to do
every
that.
penny.
It's totally
That's
it's-
infrastructure,
it's-
baby. How much
Yeah.
I
will
know,
they
but-
save on not having to, you know, repair the downed lines?
Steve, I'm totally with you on that, and it also can save lives because when
Yeah.
you don't have power.
Oh, absolutely.
But the thing is, the cost. I mean, we're having trouble in Connecticut. I'm sure most other states in the U.S. are having similar problems. We're having trouble keeping the roads in good shape, and the bridges. You drive around and you see huge stanchions that hold up like a elevated roadway. Like there's a town that I drive through all the time just to get to the studio, right?
Yeah.
And there's a Route 8 goes over like the center of the town for some reason, which another thing I don't get. And the stanchions are the concrete is crumbling off of them, and you can see the rebar in the stanchion holding up the highway. And every time I see that, I'm like, that just doesn't look good. What are they doing? So they can't even fix the roadways, let alone bury power lines. That's extravagant.
Hey, so I'm reading the chat. So thanks for all the kind words about Nexus. That was a lot of work. So we're very happy that it came off well. Of course, we always have to thank Jay and Ian, especially Ian, for all the incredible hard technical work that they did. But for those of you who missed it, it's up for a month. You can buy it anytime. Also, should we say that we're thinking of restreaming it at some point? And the difference between that and just buying into it is that we're going to, we're still in the planning stages of this, but the idea is we'll restream part of Nexus at different times for different parts of the world while we are in the chat. So we'll be live in the chat, even though the conference itself is being restreamed. So let us know what you think about that.
That's
so
cool.
we may do that. But in any case, either way, you can always, for the entire month of August, you can get access to the entire conference.
Yeah, I think it's a fun thing because, first of all, when we were running the conference, day of, it's hard for me to sit down and watch the conference because we're constantly jumping through hoops of fire just to keep everything going, and it's controlled pandemonium.
Pandemonium.
So I only think I saw 20%. I would love to sit down with you guys.
Yeah, we should. That's the thing. Yeah, we were busy.
Yeah.
We're always busy during these conferences.
Let's do a
I know,
replay of some stuff, and we'll do a live recap. We'll comment on it.
Back in the old days when we were at TAM, right? We go to TAM, and we're interviewing 15 people over 3 days. We would be in interviews almost the entire conference. I'm like, I'm coming to TAM. I'm not seeing any of it. I don't get to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've always found that to be a challenge for us at conferences. Sadly, we get to see so little of them because we're always busy with things.
Yeah.
Guys, let me read you an email I got today.
Go ahead.
Okay.
It says, Steve, you ignorant bastard.
Basically, that's
Signed
basically
Jay.
the email. But I get these all the time, but I just thought this one just struck me as a little funny. But just so you could hear what typically, here we go. So here's the first email. There's a couple backs and forth. I'm going to read it verbatim. LOL, you're full of crap about your article referring to the book, What Really Makes You Ill. What pharmaceutical company do you represent or work for? LOL. So she had to they bracket it in LOL. So that's all right. So she's, first of all, writing to me, even though I didn't write the article, but it was on SBM, right? But I'm not the author of it. They always assume I'm a pharma shill. Always. That's 100% out of the gate.
Yeah.
They play the pharma shill card every single time. And never any substantive argument. Nothing, right? Now, the book, What Really Makes You Ill, Harriet Hall reviewed that recently on Science-Based Medicine. And the book is 100% total BS, right? It is basically does not believe in the germ theory. This is what we're talking about, right? Doesn't believe in vaccines, doesn't believe in medicine, all drugs are poisons, does not believe in that, toxicity depends on dose. Even in microscopic doses, anything could be toxic. And it just is offering a bunch of complete medical pseudoscience, right? So I'm full of crap because I believe in the germ theory. That's basically what she's saying.
Yeah.
So I responded, and which I don't, I always just, it's a whim whether or not I'm going to respond. So here's my response. I would just like to see how are they going to deal with an actual challenge to present some arguments. So I wrote, is that really the best you can do? The naked and false assumption that we must be working for Big Pharma because we accept germ theory and reject blatant nonsense? SBM is a 100% independent site run by professionals and scientists who want to inform the public about medical pseudoscience. If you have any actual legitimate arguments to make or evidence to present, feel free. Regards. And then their response to me was,
Oh, yeah.
blah, blah, blah. That was their response. Blah, blah, blah. So
Blah, blah, blah.
that's about the intellectual fortitude that you typically get.
It's the sandbox in first grade.
Yeah.
That's where you are.
Yeah.
Because, that tells me they don't want to hear anything outside of their paradigm.
But the narrative, I get
It's
the
a form of
exact
trolling.
same narrative. And the irony is it's always like, you're brainwashed, you're just following what other people are telling you, you're like whatever. And then, they said, but in reality, they hit me back with this completely pre-digested narrative I've heard a million times that somebody fed them in order to sell them snake oil. It's like, it's incredible, the irony, and that it's completely wasted on them.
Yeah, of course.
Check.
Still bad, Bob.
Still bad. That is mind-numbing because, first and foremost, like, we're not doing this because we want to deceive people. We're doing this because we want to help people, educate them on how to perceive reality, right? To put it right down to the nub. So first off, this person who emailed you was like, I'm going to email that guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to email the editor and give him
And
help.
go, meh.
Yeah, but
Basically.
that's my big point. My point is there was no intention of dialogue. It was an
Yeah.
intention to jab you in the ribs.
Yeah, but
That's it.
sometimes when I respond exactly like that, their response is like, oh, I didn't realize I was talking to an actual person, and then they try to either apologize or formulate an argument, or they backtrack, or whatever. You know what I mean? I basically shame them into trying to be a human being, and then the other half of the time they double down. It's just like, her blah blah blah. So, it's always interesting to see which way they're going to go. But what you never get is an actual legitimate argument, is a valid, well thought out, referenced, evidence-based, factual, logically consistent argument. Never, ever, ever do I get that.
But
in this context, I'm not talking about every email I get. I'm just talking about the pushback against science-based medicine. It's never evidence or logic-based, ever. It's always conspiracy, big pharma. People are wising up to natural this, natural that. You're evil, you're awful, you're a baby eater, blah, blah, blah. That's all I get.
Guys, I'll be back. Bye-bye.
I think Bob needs a reboot.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, Steve, I wish it was that easy, right? I wish that all we had to do was sit there and just pose a logical perspective, and then people would go, "Oh, yeah."
We know that's not true.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't work that way. I mean, they're so deep down the throat of the snake, they can't pull themselves out, and that's why after doing this for so long, I mean, we must have said this on the show dozens of times, it's not even worth it. It's just not even worth it. Just for fun, you did that out of curiosity, right, Steve?
Okay, and so I could talk about it tonight on the stream.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was going to get a funny response.
Yeah, it's always entertaining, and sure, you could do that for fun. But I mean, it's I don't even have an interest. I don't want to talk to those people. I want to talk to people who we can help.
Mm-hmm.
There is no winning. I'm so beat up just arguing politics for the last 3 years. I'm just like, I can't. Oh yeah, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want to do everything I can to make the world a better place and put my energy into something that works, as opposed to those people. Right. I've got a friend, and Evan and Steve, you might be aware of this. A mutual friend of all of ours on Facebook is arguing with someone who has a view on politics that is impossible to relate to.
Yeah.
And what he's doing, and it's funny because I kind of get why he's doing it. He's trying to create a logic box.
Yeah.
So at some point she has to admit that she's wrong, which would mean that the person that she politically is following is wrong, right? And he's like, so what about now? And then he'll link to an article. And then what about now? He'll link to another article. You know, like all of these things are happening in the news. And you would think that at some point there would be a critical mass where someone goes, oh my God, I just have to concede because reality, you know, but they just double, triple, quadruple down and they're as happy as they were, you know?
Yeah.
We're the ones that feel the pain and they're just, yep, I'm in my bubble and it's.
Yeah, no, they're doing the lawyer's defense, right? They have their side. That's a priori. And then they will only acknowledge arguments or facts that support their side.
Yep.
They won't engage with anything that contradicts it, except to dismiss it, call it fake news or whatever. And you know the situation has been getting worse. So the other thing is I wanted to chat about, which ties into this, is if you guys seen the video of Richard Nixon announcing that Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin died on the moon, or have to be were abandoned on the moon, and
was that did he pre-record something in case?
Well, we should take a look at it.
Or is it deep fake?
It's a deep fake. It's a very high quality deep fake.
Well, we knew that's coming. We we've been talking about deep fake for years now.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for years, and it's just incrementally getting better. I remember a few years ago, the deep fakes were like, yeah, that's pretty good, but you can 100% tell that it's fake. But now it's just crossing that threshold. So, I mean, they used a video of Nixon giving a speech. They had an actor read the speech that he did write a speech in preparation for the mission failing and for those astronauts dying. You can't whip that out of your ass, right? You got to have that ready to go.
Yep.
We had the two speeches. They succeeded. They didn't succeed, and so they had an actor read the they didn't succeed speech. Then they used AI to alter the audio to make it sound like Nixon, and then they used AI to make the lips match the audio. But it is Nixon, sitting in front of the camera, and so there's not that much, being animated. But getting the mouth to work is really hard. Because we were very good at detecting it, and it was convincing. But the point was, it was done as a way of showing where the technology is, and the fact that basically, unless the video has been vetted independently, otherwise, like the video itself is no longer evidence. You know what I mean? Just having a video is not reliable evidence. You need to verify the video itself.
Yeah.
But it also, the downside, probably the greater downside of that is not just that you can't trust video, is that it means, and again, we're already there, but anyone can deny any fact that they don't like as fake, right? People are asking for the link.
Yeah, I'd like to see it too.
I forget what the name of it
Ian,
was.
is it possible for you to play that in the stream, just out of curiosity?
Yeah.
Almost
Whip that out,
I just need the link.
Yeah, get the link, Steve. Let's watch it together because I think it'll be fun for everyone to see it.
Yeah.
And we can riff on it a little bit more.
Here's the NPR story about it. Don't tell me they don't link to it.
Steve, your camera is focused on your microphone.
And I'm trying to get it to focus. How's
Take it off that autofocus.
While Steve is doing
3, 2, 1.
I'm looking it up.
Liftoff.
I would like to
We
tell
have a
everyone
liftoff
that
on Apollo
got
11.
to see Nexus.
Let me find it for you.
How we had so much fun the Friday night game show and recording Nexus that day. What the thing I love about building a project like that is when you get to the day of and everything starts to happen, it's like I don't know, there's such a sense of we did it the whole time. Like every time something worked, every time a speaker called in to get ready to start their talk on time. And I'm watching Liz, coordinate them, do a last minute AV check on
All right,
them.
Ian, it's on my screen if you see it.
Yeah, actually, I got the link to somebody in chat posted
Yeah,
it. Thank you.
moondisaster.org.
Do you want to just play it right from here?
Yeah, all right,
you
go ahead.
You
I'll
could play it
finish
share it on the
Don't
stream.
worry about me.
Okay. Sorry.
We could all watch it together.
Sorry, Jay.
Let's all watch the president.
Here we go.
Give me a second.
It was not a crook.
You can keep going, Jay. I need a second.
Well, so the difference between a live in-person conference and the live streaming conference, though, this is my big observation. When you're at a conference with people and everyone's there, it's so much more linear and logical because the people are in the hotel. You know that the speakers have checked in. Like, you're not worrying about the moment to moment like you are. You're more worrying about the thing that's going to happen in a few hours. You know what I mean? There's it's kind of on autopilot. All the work is done ahead of time. Now, I'm not saying
there are tech issues. There is,
but it's not the same kind of.
But yeah, it's not. This was like having 12 plates spinning at the same time and keeping them going.
But that's the part that is
with a minimal crew. I mean,
that's fun though. Yeah, I mean, it was
minimal.
Yeah, it was
bare bones.
Bob just called me on my cell phone, which means he's having.
Oh no, I got him.
Okay.
He's coming in.
But with the day of when we were doing it, because we didn't have time to fully test every corner, every nook and cranny. It was like everything was lined up, and as the day progressed and as everything was working, it was more and more and more like, whoa, we were so blown away that. But
what's funny is, from my perspective, every time we run an event from our studio, I get the sense all right, now we got the studio working. And now we could just
yeah.
but then the next time, we just add layers of complexity to it. So it always seems like it's a work in progress.
Right, because we're not just sitting back going, we're going to do it like we did it last year. We always want to do, we're always enhancing.
Jay, you got to learn to sit on your laurels, rest on your laurels.
Bob, you sound good.
So
all right, let's watch the video.
All right, let's watch the video.
Yeah.
So Steve, you have to run it.
How do I do that?
Right, I think.
Bob, your light.
Do whatever you were doing before.
What?
Is this is the video, right?
Brightness is hot. You're hot.
Thank you, Jay.
Is that streaming? Is that you sharing my desktop?
Yeah. People should be able to hear it.
Kellogg's puts more in your morning. Here from CBS News Apollo headquarters at Kennedy Space Center, correspondent Walter Cronkite.
Good morning. It's T-minus 1 hour, 29 minutes, and
Jay, all I had to do was
53
reboot.
seconds
That was
and
it.
counting. In
Just
just an hour and a half.
I mean, it's the
If
magic.
all goes
it's
well,
the computer.
Apollo
Are you guys
11
not hearing
astronauts,
this?
Armstrong,
No, they
Aldrin,
can't hear it. So you guys
are to lift
gotta
off from
just.
Pad 39A
I'm hearing it
out
through
there
the Facebook
on the
feed.
voyage
Okay.
man always has dreamed about.
Well, don't
Next
talk
stop
over
for
it.
them.
The other thing I
the
wanted to
moon.
tell you guys was
So it is now that there is
When-
time.
when
Jay,
we
don't
did-
talk
Wait,
over
Jay,
me.
Only briefly
yeah,
on this
they-
busy
they're
morning.
We'll be quiet. I'll tell
Think
you
of
when you
those
can
three
talk.
men and the burdens and the hopes that they carry on behalf of all mankind. Here's Jack King in launch control.
We're approaching the 60-second mark on the Apollo 11 mission. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Oh boy. Oh boy, it looks good,
Tower
Wally.
clear.
Somebody must be leaving the job.
Building shaking. Getting that buffeting we've become used to. What a moment. Man on the way to the moon.
I mean, unless you want to skip ahead.
It looks like it's not that much more, so it should get to it quickly.
Hello, Houston. Hello, Houston. This is Apollo 11. I'm reading you loud and clear. Go ahead, over. Listen, Dave, everything's going just swimmingly. We see out our side windows the sun going by, and of course out one of our windows right now we've got the Earth. Roger. Time to begin maneuver is 3:05:03. We approach the moon. The moon will gradually grow larger and larger in size. 4 forward, drift into the right a little.
Okay, how are you looking? All your systems go?
To 12:02. Stop alarm. Say again. Stop alarm. 12:01. 12:01. Roger, 12:01.
12:01. Low level.
Now, well may be the problem here, and we can monitor Delta 8.
What do you think, Don?
That's terrible. Let me try auto again now, see what happens. 1 minute. 1 minute. Roger, we got you.
We'll be good.
Roger, lost misfit. Lost data flight. We've had shutdown.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. Fate has ordained that the men who went to the moon to explore in peace will stay on the moon to rest in peace. These brave men, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin, know that there's no hope for their recovery. But they also know that there is hope for mankind in their sacrifice. These two men are laying down their lives in mankind's most noble goal, to search for truth and understanding. They will be mourned by their families and friends. They will be mourned by their nation. They will be mourned by the people of the world. They will be mourned by a Mother Earth that dared send 2 of her sons into the unknown. In their exploration, they stirred the people of the world to feel as one. In their sacrifice, they bind more tightly the brotherhood of man. In ancient days, men looked at stars and saw their heroes in the constellations. In modern times, we do much the same, but our heroes are epic men of flesh and blood. Others will follow and surely find their way home. Man's search will not be denied. But these men were the first, and they will remain the foremost in our hearts. For every human being who looks up at the moon in the nights to come will know that there is some corner of another world that is forever mankind. Good night.
All right, just stop sharing the desktop, Ian.
Okay, it should.
That was fake. All right. So,
what was watched? What was that? Just basically a convincing deep fake?
it was a deep fake of President Nixon reading a speech that he prepared in case the Apollo mission failed. Apollo 11 failed.
Right.
So it's very good, but you can still tell. You can still tell it's not 100% real.
Yeah, but that will change.
Yeah, but so the two things about it are the head movements didn't always match what he was saying, right? Because it was a different speech. It was actually his resignation speech that they used as the raw footage. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a little bit of uncanny valley there because he's like doing emphasis with his head, but it's not matching what he's saying exactly. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. And the mouth movements, while very convincing, every now and then gave you that CG look. Like if you've been playing Red Dead Redemption or whatever. Like you're like the latest really good animation you can see. But yeah, it would be interesting to watch it without knowing if it was a fake to see if you would have picked it up. I think I would have because there was just something a little off about it, very subtle.
Where could one go to see that, Steve? Just Google it. I mean, what would you say?
It's moondisaster.org.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a moondisaster.org.
I can think of a few old movies they can fix using that technology.
Yeah. No, but yeah, it'd be great for that. I mean, it's great for you could
corrective purposes.
Yeah,
for
ADR
things like
or whatever.
Yeah.
You could actually make people look like they're saying what you want them to say. Or how about this? You use it when you dub over foreign films. What do you think about that? So you dub a movie from one language into another, and then you use this technology to make the mouth movements match.
I'd like to see a sample of that.
Yeah.
Let's see how that. Yeah.
However,
that would be an interesting test.
This 3 minutes of deepfake took them months to make, several months.
Yeah, not ready for prime time for that application. Yeah. This is one of the technologies that's really truly scares me. I don't know how long it will take before they cross that threshold where it's convincing to most everyone, but we'll reach it, and then we're in a whole new world, completely new world. We've been in that world regarding pictures, right? I mean, pictures are no longer, the definitive evidence that they used to be.
Yeah.
Right.
It's easy to, it doesn't take that much skill to make a convincing fake photo. But still, photographic evidence still has some weight to it,
But here's the thing. Even if you eventually reveal it as a deep fake, the political damage is done. People have already seen the video.
Yeah, I mean, it's emotional impact.
And yeah, they won't necessarily remember that a month later somebody figured out it was a deep fake.
Well, I wish that there were a way though that we could empirically still know what is a deep fake or not. I mean, there might be a way if it's analyzed to look at the pixels and see if they, I know that we could do that in Photoshop. I don't know what technology they're using to make a deep fake, but that's going to be very challenging, man. That's
right.
Everything is going to be
the
question.
Yeah, and the problem with that, Jay, is that once you identify a problem and you can kind of quantify the problem, then they can, in the next generation, they could fix that problem, and then it's gone. And you've got to find the next problem. So unfortunately, it's very easy. It's relatively easy for them to fix it, to fix the telltale signs that it's fake. And you can see it's just getting better and better and better. I mean, some people on the chat right now are saying that they would have totally bought into it. So we're getting close, really close. But maybe there could be something we could do where, like, whenever you record something, maybe it syncs up in some way with, I don't know. I mean, I just hope some of the geniuses out there can think of a way to at least extend the horizon, farther out so that we could quickly tell it's a fake for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
I had a weird idea. I mean, this might be a totally ridiculous idea, but I don't understand the technology well enough. But what if there was a way to like encode it where when something is being videoed, maybe there could be like an undecipherable,
like a watermark, a digital watermark,
an embedded signal
it.
or something that if you could tell if that's ever broken or manipulated, you would know.
It'd have to be unhackable though.
Yeah.
You could fake it. Fake that.
Somebody mentioned, multiple videos. I mean, what if you had 10 people recording it at once? That would be helpful.
Very helpful.
And
right?
right?
Like when you get like 10 iPhone videos of the same event happening on different people, clearly in real time. Clearly that 10 fakes weren't made all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said like Bitcoin. Like we have like this encryption measure that like there are people that are experts at this. I would love to interview someone that could talk to us about that and what the potential would
Yeah.
be there. Hey guys, before I forget, Ian and I were talking about an hour before we started the stream tonight. I want us to wish Randy a happy birthday.
Yeah.
And I would like,
James
while
Randy.
we're doing it,
Yes, James Randy.
What did he say?
Just not some guy, Randy.
Chat was saying happy birthday to Randy. So like if we have a 30-second thing happen, which we're just talking about Randy and wishing him a happy birthday, then Ian can package that. We can email it to Randy as a thank
And also, we want people to spam the chat with "Happy Birthday, James Randy" or Randy or the Amazing Randy. Anything.
When do you want to do that? Let's do a countdown.
Now, right?
Okay.
Let's just do it.
All right, guys. Everybody, wish
Wait,
Randy.
let's just not. They can do it in the chat. We should talk to Randy, like, because this is something that Randy's going to see. So the four of us will just talk to Randy and wish him a happy birthday while they're chatting. Happy birthday to him.
All right, they already started. So say what you want to say. Go.
Randy, we know today is your birthday, and we wanted to make sure that you heard from the SGU.
Happy birthday, Randy.
Happy
Randy,
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Not
Love
only
you.
happy birthday, but Randy, you are one of the people who influenced us and helped us get our start. And you're part of the reason why this podcast exists. So we want to thank you.
Yep.
He's
Very much
92,
so.
I think, right?
It's
Okay,
his
that's good.
11th birthday, right? Isn't it, Evan?
92. 92 years young.
Amazing.
Yeah, I remember Randy did a talk for us at MIT. Remember that, Steve?
Yes.
And Yale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time that we met Randy and Davey. And we had dinner with them afterwards. And right out of the gate, they were just totally regular to us. Like, yep, Randy was just easy to talk to and a regular person. And he's always been that way. Randy's always been an incredible pleasure to be around and talk to, and you just instantly feel like you're friends with him. And we felt that way for a very long time. Randy, we love you, and we're glad that you are still the amazing Randy. The amazing Randy.
All right.
Cool.
92. Unbelievable. Still kicking. All right.
Well, yeah, right. We should all
I'll
be
take
so
it.
fortunate.
I'll take 92.
I'll
I
take
would
it.
take
in a heartbeat.
92. Yes. Sign me up.
Yeah.
I would take 2092 better, but
Nice try.
I've told Bob this a million times. I'm like, just when I'm going to get my shit together, I'm going to die. You know what I mean? Like, I am just starting to wrap my hands around my life and be like, I'm finally getting it. And I'm finally like, doing it the way I really want to do it. And, that's it. That's the irony.
Yeah. People generally get happier as they get older.
Well, I'm waiting for that.
The question is, if you just like measure happiness, there's a trend towards greater happiness in old age. And the question is that just people getting their shit together? As you said, it's just, you've paid your mortgage, your kids are off to have their lives, whatever, there's just less shit to worry about. Or is it brain damage? Is it just that, the older brain, your frontal lobes take a hit and you just sort of la belle indifference, as we say.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think when you're getting into your 40s and 50s and 60s and onward, you have these amazingly developed relationships with people, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you have that cushion. You have yourself in a way. Like when you're younger, I remember, like Steve, you may not have experienced this anywhere near to the degree that I did, just because you've always been a hyper rational, level-headed person. But when I was in my 20s and 30s, like I thought that I had my shit together, and I in the back of my mind, I knew I didn't. You know what I mean? I knew that I just wasn't there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like, my life is very stable, and I have such intense relationships and people that I love, and I appreciate that on such a level that, I think I am much happier now than I was in my 20s, because my appreciation level for everything has skyrocketed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think of myself in my 20s especially, but even 30s, and like I didn't know what was going on back then. I thought I did. Again, as you say, like at any age, you think you pretty much have your stuff together. But thinking back, it's like, God, I was a moron when I was in my 20s.
I know, right? Every decade that just went by. When I review myself, I'm like, I didn't know shit 10
I
years
didn't know
ago.
nothing.
Yeah.
Well, you just work stuff out. You have baggage, and you just sort of shed. I think you just shed baggage progressively as you get older.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
also,
I
you stop
think-
worrying about stuff. Like you get a little bit of perspective. It's amazing, when you're younger, you could be bothered by things that, like, when you're older, mean nothing. It's like, don't worry about
Yeah,
that.
like
That's
like
not what you should be worrying about.
Jay's daughter Olivia wanted pizza for dinner, and her mom got her a hamburger tonight, and she's like, "I
has a
wanted
meltdown.
pizza." Starts crying,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, it's like, wow. I mean, crying over. All right, if you're gonna cry over some food, pizza's on that list, but. It's just funny if like adults acted like that. Imagine a 30-year-old guy.
It's easy to see in 3 or 4-year-olds, but it's the same, I think.
Some do. Yeah, sometimes they run for president and run countries. It's remarkable. Anyway, guys, we have a couple of things on the calendar. We have a quiz coming up soon, but Evan, I think your puzzle is now complete. Are you ready to do it?
Oh yeah, it is. It is. I left out not a key piece of information, but certainly it's important that it be included. So this one was challenging. Certainly not easy. It's a mishmash of lines and numbers, as you may or may not be able to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And with some hints that I offered during the course of it, there were folks who were able to figure it out. Let's see who here? It was kind of a group effort once again, but I think Madcap 65, you probably got most of the stuff. So this is a location. This is a place. It's actually several places.
Is it a population of countries
Yes.
around each other? Yeah.
Yes, very good, Jay. Population in the what? In the
I would say in the Middle East.
Yes, close. Think a little more east than that. But what are the numbers are populations, but they're in what? They're in hundreds or
millions?
Thousands? Millions. They are millions. So you got.
So was 1297 India?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Good
You
job.
got India. You got
Pakistan.
China at 1393 at the top.
Yeah.
In between the two at 28 is Nepal. You've got 212 over to the west side there in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Got 161,000 down there 161 million here on the coast for Bangladesh. You've got 2 million on the island of Sri Lanka. And up here we have the little recognized known country of Bhutan, Bhutan.
Evan, where's Thailand? Why isn't Thailand on the map?
Thailand's off the map. It's off.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, I would have had to scroll further.
Evan, the reason why I started
It's
with
next to Yosemite, right?
was that river. I figured if that's a river, then those are countries, and that has to be population. That was really, if you didn't have that blue line in there, I would never have guessed that.
The blue line is a help. It's the Indian Ocean down there, and that is a water coastline. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So good job, guys, figuring that out.
Man.
That was one of the harder ones. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very impressed with all of you.
There
Every
is
last one of you.
so much more pleasing about seeing a puzzle and figuring it out than not figuring it out.
I agree. I love brain teasers. Always love brain teasers, word puzzles, number puzzles, all my life. I've got a whole set of Martin Gardner books back here. He wrote awesome puzzle books. Pick them up if you haven't. I mean, a couple bucks online, you'll find them. You'll have an awesome time if you're into puzzles. Martin Gardner. Can't recommend him enough.
Cool. Thanks, Evan. I always enjoy that puzzle segment. Let's get to the quiz because we have a fun quiz tonight.
Oh, quiz.
Bob and I worked on the quiz together.
Oh, wow. Bob has a distinct advantage.
Just one.
Jay, how many questions were there?
And I would have got it right.
The first one, you'll see a name. It starts with the letter B, and it's one word.
Right. Oh, okay. So
That's the first
5?
one. Yeah, I think there's 5.
Okay. Let me post the link for everybody. It's the same as each week, but darkenergy.games.
Right.
Stand by as we create that.
While Ian is doing that, I would like to thank Frank, the programmer, again.
We're doing the access code thing again, right? SGU versus
Jay,
everybody.
I think you do that just to make me smile.
Yeah, do that.
Every week.
So what we're going to do this time, guys, we're going to do what we did during the conference. We're going to be the four of us are going to be considered a nation or a country.
Okay.
The
And
SGU.
same password as last time?
No, for us it will be, but for the
Yeah,
audience,
for us.
it's going to cook it up. But I want to thank Frank because a couple of things that people aren't aware. When we tried to run the quiz, it was like 4 p.m. Eastern time, and we had to delay it until like 7:30. And Frank is in Germany, so Frank had to stay up late to man the server for us. Yeah, so I wanted to thank Frank for doing that. You know, he likes to sit there while we're playing just to make sure everything is working, optimized, or whatever. Like he is doing some work behind the scenes. But so Frank, if you're listening, thank you so much.
So Ian, how are you sending us the code?
The code is the same. I'll put it in the Zoom chat. It's the same as before, but in case you don't remember.
I did it. There you go.
Yep.
You sure about that last letter, Jay?
Yep.
Yes. It's intentional.
And we'll wait to click synchronize.
Yeah, just wait for me to. I'll do the countdown and we'll do the thing. We're just waiting for people to get in. Only have 150 thus far out of 600 plus people watching. So keep on clicking those links. Seems like everybody enjoyed the Bill Nye, Andrew, and
Oh yeah, what was
talk.
not to love about that?
Oh my gosh.
It's you know.
Watch that all day, all night.
There's been a few times in my life where I've met people or got the opportunity to interview someone where they truly exude a loving, caring vibe that I just don't think you can fake it. Like, you know, when we interviewed Ann, Steve, during the podcast, I was hit with that. I was hit with like, you know, just how tender she was.
Yeah.
You know, there's a quality about her that kind of slowly kind of rolls over you. And then when Bill was interviewing her for Nexus, it was the perfect combination of like they're friends, they have a shared history, they have a totally shared love of science and a perspective. Like, and they were talking about being at the World's Fair. And I remembered at one point I'm listening to them talk about it and watching them like almost like looking at each other, talking to each other during the interview, because they were across the country. Bill was in LA and Ann is in upstate New York. But they had this shared moment and this passion. And I remember being like emotionally affected by it. It really was meaningful to me. And then, you know, I loved it when George got involved. Like George had that question he had to ask, which I thought was really awesome. I loved that. So, Ian, what do you want us to do?
Stand by. We got a little less than 300, but we're probably pretty good thus far. I just posted the link again for some people that weren't in just yet. Oh, it's ticking up. Everybody, the access code is 1139. If you want to use that. You saw nothing. You saw something in the chat or in the screen.
You see nothing?
Everything was fine. There was nothing on screen that wasn't supposed to be. Okay. We got over 300.
300.
306.
Favorite
8.
number.
Right.
Just me counting numbers. How about we take a question for 1 second? Do you think challenge trials should be undertaken, or are they too dangerous?
He's more specific. A challenge
trials?
You mean like the cinnamon challenge? That was dangerous.
Sure.
That was dumb. You could choke to death on a big spoonful of cinnamon.
I mean, challenge trials? Is that not
Is that what they're talking about?
like something about drugs trials or something? No, maybe I don't know.
Challenge trials? No.
I've never.
Like the ice bucket challenge?
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, we don't use the phrase. I mean, I don't like challenge trials in development unless you're referring to something very specific I'm not aware of.
So, hey guys, someone asked if we were going to mention what happened in Beirut. I don't know if they were just wanted us to acknowledge that it did happen or have something concrete kind of to say about it.
I know that what happened.
Catastrophe that it is.
I have not had any time to like dig into any behind the scenes details.
I've had no internet, so I don't know I have no idea what's been happening in the world for the last 3 days. But I saw the video. I saw a video of a guy on a jet ski.
When it happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
He got knocked off the jet ski. It was really dramatic. It was really cool. Horrible, of course.
Well, yeah, horrible.
I don't want to undermine that, underplay that. Another video I saw was this woman in a beautiful wedding dress. It was her wedding day.
I saw that one too.
And the bomb, what do you call that? The blast effect. I forget the phrase. The
blast
shockwave.
Shockwave. The shockwave hit her, and the camera, and everyone goes, who did it? What happened? Was it an accident?
Yeah, I imagine I don't know that anything definitive has been brought forth as far as what really happened there. It seems to be consistent with large factory explosions when you have like raw materials, fertilizer, sugar factories. You see those videos of those things going up, ammonium nitrate explosions. So
NPR is saying
it
looks like an accident.
Yeah. I heard something about a welder. There was some welding going on, and that may have sparked something that triggered it.
Yeah,
there was a warehouse that held 2,750 tons of ammonium nitrate.
Think about that, 2,000 and some odd tons.
Tons.
Yeah.
So apparently a challenge trial is when everyone is given the vaccine and then also infected on purpose.
Oh, I see.
So they're infected first.
They take healthy volunteers.
Give them the vaccine, then infect them.
Those are done only in very limited situations where the disease is benign. Like you're not going to do that with HIV or with anything potentially serious. If you're doing it to see if it presents the flu, and you're a young, healthy person who it's not a big deal if you get the flu, then it's more reasonable. But it's all risk versus benefit there,
Somebody just said that the bomb explosion. Sorry, I just been reading the chat as they go by. Said it was 10% of the hydrogen bomb that went off in Hiroshima.
That's the amount of energy. That's amount. Wow.
Yeah, I guess that's the TNT.
Well, that was because that was
equivalent?
20,000 tons of TNT. 20,000 tons. This was 2,000 tons.
Jeez.
If it's the equivalent of TNT, I don't know. I remember I just heard that when Walter Cronkite, because he was a young reporter at that time, was announcing the news about the bomb going off in Hiroshima, and he read in the copy that it was 20,000 tons of TNT. He assumed it had to be a typo, and so he corrected it to 20 tons.
He did that edit himself?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like, oh, that must be a mistake. It's got to be 20 tons. There's no bomb that's 20,000 tons of TNT.
So wait. Did I say it was a hydrogen bomb? It was an atomic bomb.
Not hydrogen, yeah.
Right.
A fission bomb, not a fusion bomb.
Big difference. An atomic bomb detonates a hydrogen bomb.
Yeah.
Whoa. that is not. All right.
I think we're good. Yeah,
okay,
so
let's play.
Just to prep everybody, you're gonna hit calibrate, I think is what, or synchronize. That's what it's for me as well. Now, so I'm gonna count down. I'm gonna click when you hear me say click, then everybody click, and you will be timed relative to the stream. If anything says like too late to click or something to that effect, just play with what's happening on the screen. It'll be off sync from what you're watching, but that's just how it is. Okay, here we go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, click.
Got it.
I am
We're
1
just
second
wait till
behind the live stream.
the last stream, or the longest
0
latency
seconds behind, or
for
is that
everybody,
ahead?
which is probably about 30 seconds.
Just finished watching the second season of The Umbrella Academy. It's fun. It's a really good show. I liked it a lot.
I started
recommend
watching Stargirl.
Stargirl? What's that?
Yeah. It's a superhero show.
Is it lame or good?
I kind of like it. Only on episode 3. I recommend it. Check it out.
Kind of like it from Bob? I don't know.
No, it was good. We're just getting into it. No, I definitely like it.
You have to
I mean,
calibrate to Bob's. You know,
It's not
to Bob.
wonderful.
It's a solid 5.5.
It's interesting. You're seeing people put their synchronization delay in,
Yeah.
and you know, it's the internet is really delivering this stream at microsecond intervals all over the world, right? Like somebody can be 16 seconds, somebody can be 16.5 seconds behind. I wonder if there's a way to make it so everybody gets it at the same time.
No.
It would be very delayed.
Yeah.
But there were some platforms that could do very fast. But it's all ingestion engine stuff. And
Ingestion
all right.
engine.
So here we go. I think we got the maximum number
Yeah.
of people. We're going to start, and away we go. So which part of the body is affected by the blepharitis?
Blepharitis.
Blepharitis.
That's what I said. Blepharitis. The eyelids, the lower intestine, the hands and feet, or the kidney? This is presumably.
You know what? I can't answer these questions because I know the answers. So
That's right.
Oh, so well, that's going to skew
While
the
everybody's
results,
waiting,
right?
try to pronounce blepharitis.
Blepharitis.
Okay.
Blepharitis.
You heard me say it, though.
I have blepharitis. How's that?
Do you?
All right, so
I think that was it. We got it's the eyelids, right?
The
Yep.
eyelids.
There we are. All right, moving on to the
Faux
next.
show.
just the eyelids.
Say that.
What,
Yeah,
Jay?
I put notes in on those for you too.
Oh, I don't think I saw that. Which scientist formulated the law of universal gravitation? Max Planck, Albert Einstein, Erwin Schrödinger, Isaac Newton. Some people are getting music, I believe, if you're on desktop.
Cool.
I'm not.
No. Some people other than Steve.
I got it right.
So this is a general physical law derived from the empirical observations by what Isaac Newton called inductive reasoning. It is part of a classical mechanics and was formulated in Newton's work Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, the Principia, first published on the 5th of July, 1687.
Cool.
A lot of notes, Jay. What was the first commercial, digital, and programmable robot?
Now listen up, everyone. I researched this quite a bit.
Oh boy.
Pay attention to the words commercial, digital, and programmable because that's the best part.
Say the names. What are the names?
Gizcard, Automata, Unimate, and Electro.
Unimate.
Got it.
Didn't get that one.
I like Gizcard there, Jay. I think
Yeah.
I think there's a typo.
Isaac
though.
Asimov. Yeah, you didn't spell it correctly, but
So the
that's
first commercial, digital, and programmable robot was built by George
gosh.
Devil in 1954 and was named the
By
Unimate.
the devil.
Unimate.
Unimate. Okay. It was sold to General Motors in 1961, where it was used to lift pieces of hot metal, something, something, something. I didn't read the rest.
Here we go.
In Game of Thrones, what was the name of the Westeros city capital city? King's Landing, Lannisport, River Run, or Essos?
I went to Essos.
I wrote my.
Brought my essay.
It's always going to be funny to me. Yeah, I'm coming up with questions today. I told Bob, go make some questions. I'll make some questions. And I'm like, I'm going to veer into science fiction and fantasy now because for fun.
All right.
We're getting objections that Game of Thrones is not science.
Oh.
Yeah, but this is
Come
not
on.
Ethics Guide to the Universe podcast. This is a live stream where we talk about whatever we want.
There you go. Ooh, talk about whatever we want.
This is a good one.
I'll remember that.
Which sequence most accurately lists the layers of Earth's atmospheres from the ground up?
The ground up.
Mm-hmm. The mesosphere, stratosphere, troposphere, thermosphere, exosphere, or hydrosphere, stratosphere,
You're really gonna read all that.
thermosphere, exosphere, sphere, or mesosphere, troposphere, stratosphere, discosphere, or troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. Wow,
I love my question.
that's something.
I got it right, Bob.
Of course you did.
You better. Hear you nothing I say.
That one was fun.
That was it.
Oh, that was it?
So I had to word that very carefully. Which list is most accurate? Because you could throw in some other layers, like ionosphere, right? You could that's legit, but I think that's kind of part of the thermosphere. Most websites will list what I had listed there, but that was cool. I threw in hydrosphere because that's not a layer of the atmosphere. Jay threw in discosphere just to be a goof.
Yeah, I wanted one of them to definitely be wrong, because although typically when I come up with the answers, I try to come up with things that kind of seem like the right answer, of course, because you want to.
Well, that's why I threw hydrosphere, because you think, oh yeah, that's the layer where the ocean is, right? Hydrosphere kind of makes sense as the lowest layer of the atmosphere.
It wouldn't be a layer of the atmosphere then.
Huh? No, the one that interfaces with the water.
Oh, okay.
A lot of humidity and everything.
A lot of 60%. Some 100% in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna stop the game. Here we go. Stop.
I want to hang with those people. I got to get smarter.
I think I got them all right.
All right.
All right.
All right. So let's see.
Some sneaky people snuck into the SGU country.
Oh, was I not supposed to?
No.
Oh, you're saying some other
sneaky
people.
people.
How's that possible? Who gave them the password?
Because they saw the chat was open.
Oh.
Which was totally not on screen.
Ian.
I can't separate. It's how Zoom works.
All right, we're gonna have to get.
All right, Bulgaria wins.
We'll change it for next time.
Bulgaria.
Either way, SGU wins.
We gave him the opportunity and they took it. Bravo.
The SGU password is 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's the only funny bit in that entire movie.
Which one?
Spaceballs.
That movie did not age well at all.
Certainly not Mel Brooks at his best, not by any stretch.
All right, we got winners and losers here. So Bulgaria, the one person in Bulgaria, great job. The one person in Romania, you got 20%. That means you got one question right. Not bad. Keep trying. Another person in Japan got one right. But let's see, where did the most people? So the most people played in the United States, and they almost hit 50%.
Not bad.
So,
all right, we have time for just a couple questions. Let's do it.
And before we do that, people have been asking about my collection here. I realized that I've got some creepy cool cats, so I just threw some cats here. This one is my favorite. This guy is just the best. He's just so kind of like creepy and freaky. Like, I don't know why is a cat wearing this? I don't know, but it looks
look at that
cool.
tail. It has mange or something.
And this thing is a mask.
Prove it. Hey, cat, where did Bob go? There he is.
Yeah, to answer your question about the VPN, the game software is reading your whatever your IP is. It's going to say that that's the country you're in. If you're using a VPN and the VPN is routing you through, a country halfway across the world, that's where it thinks you are. That's why we ask you to put your country in, just so,
It wouldn't be a good VPN if it didn't.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get on to questions.
We only have a few, but this one's actually from a couple weeks ago. Someone was asking, my wife is taking Aimovig for migraines. It's not helping. Soon she will get Emgality. Mm-hmm. Have you heard anything about it being effective anecdotally?
Yeah,
I'll answer that, Steve. Go ahead.
This is the newest class of anti-migraine medications, which was developed specifically for migraine based upon our basic knowledge understanding of how migraines work. They're CGRP inhibitors. Aimovig and Emgality are the first two that hit the market. They've been out for a couple of years. They're basically equivalent. It's a monthly injection. It works incredibly well. It's the most effective treatment I think we have at this point in time. We will occasionally lateral over from one to the other. Like if Aimovig doesn't work, you can give Emgality a try and vice versa. So it's worth a try. There's also a couple there's Ajovy, which is a newer one that's out. And there's also now, just like a couple of weeks ago, they approved an IV form. It's an IV infusion every 3 months. And there's also a couple of pill forms now, which are used more for abortive therapy when you get the migraine. But they're still very effective. So that's Nurtec and I'm blanking on the other one. So there's, but yeah, it's like there's so now 5 different medications based on the same class. It's very rare that you get a new class of drugs. You know what I mean? Like a completely new mechanism. It's been the last one for migraine was the triptans like 20 years ago. You know, so this was incredible to have a whole new class of drugs, and they're very effective. So keep trying. Just because one doesn't work doesn't mean you won't respond to another one, but it does come down to trial and error.
Somebody was asking how OC came to happen.
So, Jay and I and our crew at the time were trying to put out some skeptically themed but humorous videos, and we've did a few of them that were just one-off, funny videos, and I think OC though was designed to be a series from the get-go, right? I mean, even though we only wrote one, we knew that was like a pilot, right, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, we had a meeting where we threw an amazing number of ideas at the board, and then we whittled down all the ideas.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind, can we do it? Like we had a science fiction idea, but we didn't have, that's very difficult to do with little to no budget. So, I think when we settled on the idea, it would be like the only caveman that gets critical thinking. It seemed to have a lot of potential for writing. And then when we started writing episodes, we came up with a lot of episode ideas. But of course, we shot for, what was it, Steve? 5 days, 4 or 5 days?
It was a long weekend. Yeah, I think 4 days.
Yeah. And that was wicked intense. That was the most difficult project of my life. That project took 9 months of daily work for me to pull together. And we enjoyed doing it. It was a a ton of work. Post-production was a nightmare because it just took a long time. And then we had multiple people helping us. And in the end, I'll be very honest. Like we were happy. A lot of things about it were good, but we all wanted it to be much better. And we really learned that we didn't know, we were not filmmakers. You know what I mean? It's like you can't just decide I'm going to go do something and then expect that it's going to be at the level that you hope that it could be at. And again, if we kept doing it, we would have gotten much better at the process. But we realized after doing OC that we should there's silos that we should stay in, right? Certain lanes that we should probably.
Well, it's just not that we can't do that. And I think, it was. I thought the results were fine. I like OC. I like the videos. They're just not doing anything for us. It's all about a return on investment, and the ROI wasn't there in terms of promoting skepticism and promoting the SGU and doing our thing. So it was an experiment. Everything we do was an experiment. We're always trying to just look. This is an experiment. Doing these streams. Nexus was an experiment, and then. If the ROI is enough in terms of meeting our goals, meeting our mission, we'll keep going. If at some point though we got to pull the plug. So after doing all the videos that we did, it wasn't so much that it wasn't good enough. It was that the amount of work it took wasn't worth it, and we would have had to keep that level of work or higher, to keep that going. You can't, you know what I mean? So, I'm glad we did them. They're kind of fun videos, but just wasn't worth it at the end of the day for us, to do that. It wasn't our thing.
We did a heavy experiment with video. And God, they were fun. All the other shoots that we did were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Making the opening to Tam 10 with George, that was a blast.
The dance one?
No, that was a lot of fun too. I was talking about
Professor X.
George was Professor X, and we built the chair. I remember like the night before we're gluing the plastic pieces of that chair together. Everything was
right.
So we've had a lot of fun doing that. But again, the time soak. I would rather do this. I would rather do a series of live streams than produce a 10-minute video, producing a 10-minute video takes months.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Another question was, what did Steve want to ask Anne at Nexus that he didn't ask her?
I said it in this live stream. I just wanted to tell her how much, the work of her and Carl Sagan is infused in the SGU and everything that we do.
Yeah.
I
mean, Carl Sagan and the work that Anne did with him was one of the main motivators, I think, of everything that we do. First of all, Carl legitimately was like the father of skepticism. I mean, you can make a very strong argument of that.
I mean, obviously other people were involved. We don't want to minimize their role, but he was. So I think what Carl did was really put science communication itself on a different footing. He made it, I think, more academically respectable, although not enough. He sort of he changed. So I remember, when we were kids, we ate up science documentaries. And so we were very familiar with the science documentary form, right? And then when Cosmos hit, it was totally different. It was totally different than any other science documentary I ever saw.
Yeah.
And it was a million times better.
Yeah.
And we like very recently had acquired our first like VHS recorder at the time. I recorded every episode of Cosmos as it was live, broadcast on TV, and then we watched them over and over again off of our home, VHS recording.
Because back then, once it's off the TV, it's off for a long time.
Oh,
I loved it. I loved everything about that series. I loved, how, again, it was like a personal journey. It was, him communicating directly to the audience. It wasn't just a sequence of disconnected talking heads. And you know what I mean? It was just a completely different way of approaching it. And I was hooked. I was like, this is it. This is the way. I want every documentary to be like this from now on.
Yeah.
And there have been other ones that sort of fell more in that mold. Like the other one, other documentary that I think was formatted very much like Cosmos, which I also loved, was The Day the Universe Changed by Burke. Incredible series. If you haven't seen it,
mind blowers,
because it's taking you on a journey through an understanding of concepts. That it just works so much better. And there are a small number of people that I've deliberately modeled myself after in terms of communication style. And Carl Sagan is absolutely one. James Burke is another. Stephen Jay Gould is, the third, I think, on that top three, in terms of, style and how they formulate their content and everything. But the thing that made Carl unique was, again, his ability to combine, in such a profound way, this sort of, open-eyed questing for knowledge and the sort of awe at the universe and at what we've been able to discover with science, with sort of rigorous, no-nonsense, scientific rigor. You have both of those things, sort of the skepticism and the awe at the same time. And that's exactly what we try to replicate on the SGU in our own way. We're not trying to be that, Carl B. Cosmos. We're trying to be our own thing, but we definitely want to, geek out about cool stuff, but bring it down to earth, with the skepticism at the same time.
I want to give the emotional side to it, because the aggregate feeling or memory I have of watching Cosmos at a very young age was Carl talking passionately about something. I can hear the tone in his voice.
The passion.
I can imagine his cadence right now. I've never heard anybody talk with such awe
and poetry,
reverence,
and reverence.
And also, though, like, there was enthusiasm mixed in, and then there was, his authority over the information. Like there was also the human achievement aspect of it as well, that we know this stuff. But his charisma was so perfect. It was perfect for that.
Mm-hmm.
You listen to anybody communicate anything, and you're like, okay, this person is so good at communicating this particular thing, whatever it is. I'm not talking about science. It could be anything, any topic. And there are people whose personalities and the vibe that they give just fits the content somehow.
Yeah.
And that's why, to me, when I hear Carl talk, I'm immediately enraptured. I'm immediately like, oh, I could play back any episode of Cosmos, and his voice sucks me right in and gets me to pay attention.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that if he didn't die of cancer, that all of us, anybody could have met him. We would have met him.
Yeah, he really just missed the skeptical community taking off,
Oh
He died 96.
We just formed the Connecticut Skeptical Society right around the time he was battling his illness.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So anyway, Cosmos, my God, we still talk about it like it was one of the best TV experiences we ever had.
Yeah.
And you can't recapture that lightning in a bottle. I mean, it was Carl. Carl was the thing that made that so special.
Ann's done a wonderful job of continuing the legacy, keeping it current, with the website that she helps put together, the re-releasing of Cosmos, having a hand in that. She's done a really fantastic job in sort of preserving what Carl Sagan was, who he is, and for future generations who are still just blown away by his ability to communicate these complex subjects.
Yeah, I mean, after getting to know Anne from doing the conference, interviewing her and then doing the conference with her, it gave me information about them and their relationship that I didn't have, because we got to really, Ian and I especially, we just, when we were teching Anne out to make sure her AV was working, we ended up spending a lot of time chit-chatting with her and her handler. But Anne, and Carl seemed like they were meant to be together. You know what I mean? They have that same level of passion. I can only imagine what it was like, the two of them working together on Voyager, and how excited over that project they must have been. They must have been over the moon doing that project together.
Mm-hmm.
Like just a love story. It's a real love story. A real, really get you. Was it, Evan? It kicks you in the Gulliver. What's that saying?
Not quite, but I get. I understand what you're saying.
Anne is still living in the house that she lived with Carl. Could you imagine if Carl was still alive? Wow. We could get in the car and drive. It would take us an hour to get to him, or 2 hours to get up to where they live.
There's probably some Carl Sagan skin cells still in that house.
Yeah, I didn't know that he lived so close to us. That just kills me. Oh my God, we could have been friends with him. Oh my God.
So Jay, somebody's not asking me what my smallest blaster is.
Yeah.
So this used to be my smallest blaster. Can you see it?
Yeah.
But now I've got this one. This is my smallest blaster.
Oh, it's like the cricket from Men in Black, right?
So Bob makes it for the AQ6, Alpha Quadrant 6 is our science fiction review show. Bob made this blaster wall. He gets a pegboard and he spray painted it, and he wanted to bring it on the set. And he brings it in, and it was loaded with blasters, all different kinds of ray guns and blasters. And Bob hid that little blaster in the pegboard somewhere. Yeah. And I never saw it. I've been living around that little blaster for the last 3 years. And then Bob's like, Jay, look, because it was when we were preparing the set for Nexus. I'm like, Bob, you could, let's retire the pegboard, take it home, take all the blasters home. And Bob's like, Jay, look, here's the smallest one. It's been there the whole time. I'm like, what? You never showed that to me.
It was still stuck there after months and months and months. All the other ones were already taken off. That was funny.
All right,
I think
guys.
we're out of time.
Time to go. I would like to thank all of you guys for showing up this week again. Evan and Bob and Steve, I always love our conversations.
These are fun times.
This keeps us close.
I want to thank Ian for his help tonight and for his continued support of the efforts that the SGU does. And I would also like to thank all of you guys. Thank you so much for showing up this week. I mean, I was really looking forward to this week because we missed it last week because of the conference. This is a lot easier to do if you haven't figured that out. And we want your feedback. Tell us what you thought, good, bad, and indifferent about this stream and about the conference. Just
by the way, we had a great VR component to the conference.
Yeah.
But there wasn't that many people. I don't know if it's just a limitation on how many people have VR, but you actually could be in there without VR. You could just be looking at it on your desktop. So we want to do that again and get as many people as possible. I want to have like a VR live stream.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we will definitely do that. We have a lot of things in the works right now, right, Steve? We'll be announcing some of these things.
Oh, you left out a bunch of stuff.
We do want feedback, guys. You know, if you watch the conference, or if you're still going to buy a ticket and watch it, email us at info@theskepticsguide.org, and just feel free to give us any feedback about it, because we're already talking about next year. And like I said, we're not sure if we're going to cancel the Meat Space Atlantic City conference.
Delay.
Yeah, delay it, because the thing is, I was doing the math, and if the vaccine comes out in January, February, and by the time everybody gets vaccinated, you know, we're going to be already past when I want to start selling tickets.
Yeah, the tough thing is that we have to make a call 6 months ahead of time, you know, and that's the problem. Not that things are definitely not going to be good by next summer, is that we have to know they're going to be good next winter, this coming winter, you know.
Well,
but we'll see. We'll see. We haven't decided yet, but we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, Steve, we got to decide in about a week or two, and then start. You know, because if I have to cancel, delay, whatever we're going to end up doing, I've got to talk to the venue.
All right, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Jay. Hey Jay, Chrissy says, "Don't go. I have no plans tonight. Let's do a couple more hours." Nah, forget it.
I have to go back. I have to find gasoline. All right, let me just tell you myself.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah,
there
gas is rough.
No gas in Connecticut because everybody is running generators now because of, hello.
Yeah.
So my wife and I have to hunt for gas, and then I have to go and do maintenance on my generator, and then I got to put my kids to bed. I mean, it's like I got.
Hey, we're going camping this weekend, so I got to get ready for camping. But the campsite is closed because of the hurricane, so we're going to be camping in our mother's backyard.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of lame, but there's a pool there.
That's true.
And a bathroom. And TV.
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah.
Don't confuse those.
So, guys, we'll see you
Glamping.
next week on this stream.
Wait,
next week.
One more promotion for the Nexus. One more promotion for the Nexus rebroadcast. If anybody hasn't seen it yet, make sure to subscribe on nexus.org to the mailing list, because we're going to email everybody when we do the rebroadcast, where we'll be chatting in chat live, talking about each talk. So
I ask all of you as a parting request, do something nice for someone this week. Just pick someone in your life, do something unexpected for them to help deal with all the shit that's going on in the world. Let's be good to each other.
Be excellent to each other.
Yes.
Still the best advice. All right, guys.
Definitely.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Guys.
Love.
Hello, man.
All right, I got to go. For information, visit us at theskepticsguide.org. Send your questions to info@theskepticsguide.org. And if you would like to support the show and all the work that we do, go to patreon.com/skepticsguide and consider becoming a patron and becoming part of the SGU community. Our listeners and supporters are what make SGU possible.